Welcome to Sing Scarlet. It is Shelby here with Tyler. I am at a different location, as you can see. We're going to get through this, crack it out. We are dedicated to always covering all Texas Tech sports, specifically women's basketball and softball in this episode. A lot of them. Women's basketball is now 23-3, Tyler, after the win over Kansas. A really, really nice win that they got on Tuesday night. We're going to break that down. That is the most wins since 2004 for this program. They've now secured 10 wins in the Big 12 play, that meaning that they are going to have a winning record in conference play. Only the third team at Texas Tech to do that in the last 20 years. And Krista Gerlich got her 100th victory in this game. It felt fitting for a lot of reasons, with it being Yow Night. We'll talk about all that. But man, this team is just so much fun. And so it's just so enjoyable to watch them play. And you can tell they're not done yet either, which is great. They're just trying to figure out how to get better each game, I think is what Gerlich said, so they can play as long as possible together. Like, they really want to keep fighting together, which you love with all the seniors. So we're going to get into that game. And then softball just wrapped up their start to Clearwater Invitational with a couple of wins on Thursday, including another top 10 win over number 6 Florida State. Really found a way in that one late, just chipped away, wear them down, and got it done. So we're going to go through that, and then they also shut out Northwestern later that night. We have highlights of both and highlights of the women's basketball game. So we got 3 highlight packages to show in this show. So we're going to try to roll through them as we talk. But Tyler, how are you doing? Lots of dubs to talk about today.
I know, lots of dubs to talk about. Softball started off very strong today at Clearwater, and then women's basketball getting that big win against Kansas. I mean, super excited. And then, yeah, they got women's basketball as a big game on Saturday, and softball still has a large slate of games all the way until Sunday. Like, it's sportsing right now.
Yeah,
And
and I
men's
am obviously
basketball is taking
traveling,
on the number
so
one team, like, on Saturday. So it's
oh
like
my god,
everything's going
yeah,
on at
yeah.
once. Yeah.
What a weekend for me to not be to be on roaming during all of this, but I'll do my best to keep going. Tyler, I think, is going to be there on site at Oklahoma State, or is that not true anymore? Are you going to Oklahoma
No,
State?
yes, I'm
You're
going to Oklahoma State. I'll
He'll
be
be
on
on
the
the
bus.
fan
Yep.
bus, right? I got
Yes.
invited to do that as well, but I had to come home for some family stuff, so I'm here elsewhere. But Tyler's going to lock it down on the bus for you guys, and I
I
think
will.
that's already full. But
I
it sounds like they're
got y'all.
taking 2, which could be important as we get into the Oklahoma State game, because they're a completely different team, home and away. So maybe we can make that feel like a little bit of an away game in Stillwater. So whether you get on the bus or not, if you're from the area in Oklahoma, I'm pleading you to make the trip over to Stillwater and maybe make that less of a home game for the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, because would be another massive win. If you're talking about trying to get back in the conversation to host, they got to do that. So kudos to all y'all that are getting on that bus early Saturday morning to go do that. I'll be watching best I can and tweeting, and we're going to cover them and have a big, exciting, celebratory show next Monday for that and softball. Some other big games for them coming up, including one on ESPN Sunday, primetime,
Hmm.
Sunday night,
Wow.
softball. So let's get into women's basketball first. Back on Tuesday night, they took down Kansas 70-65. This was a foul fest. We kind of expected there to be a lot of fouls. What I didn't expect is there to just be phantom horrible calls, but our players did a good job of not getting frustrated. I mean, and it was both ways. There was bad calls both ways. Like, I've never seen a worse officiated game in my life. I don't think that. I'm not even kidding. It was rough. Just phantom calls both ways, but they fought through. There were 50 fouls, 25 each way. So again, it was pretty even. Both teams were in foul trouble with some key players, and so it really did come down to role players in a lot of ways. Bailey did her thing. Samaya Nichols did her thing. You know, Sonata Collins came on late for Texas Tech as well, but you had a lot of production from key role players in this. Sydney Love had big shots. She had a really good feel for this one. And then everybody kind of did their job. Adley had big moments in this one. Once again, Jalen Bristow, I just continue to be so impressed with her maturity this year. Like, I know she has to be very frustrated that she can't produce consistently on the offensive end. It's hard to do that when you're not on the floor or you're being taken out of your rhythm because of foul trouble. But this is like another game. This is like the third or fourth game that's been close to the end of the game where she maybe didn't get to play earlier in the game, but we needed her late because of fouls. And she comes in and makes another massive defensive play, couple of defensive plays, and then hits clutch free throws. Colorado game last year. We always remember that. I knew she was going to make them, Tyler. I was thinking about this. I was like, this is light work
Yeah.
for Jalen Bristow.
Same.
Ice in her veins. And then Danae had the biggest defensive play of the game late, forcing them into an offensive foul. She wasn't shooting it like her normal self, but I think she was exerting so much effort to try to stop Samaya Nichols that I couldn't even care. I was just like, keep doing your job, Danae. Like, you stop Samaya Nichols, that's a win. And she did hold her scoreless in the first half. Down low was the big thing we talked about going into the game. How are they going to stop Davis down there? She had come in scoring, double figures in every game she played. She did get to double figures with 14, but she had been averaging almost 30 and like 30 points and 15 rebounds over her last
Literally.
few games coming into that one specifically. And we held her to 14, and only 2 of those were in the second half. She had a really good first half, specifically a really good first quarter. We were down like 17-11 after the one, and she had quite a few in the first quarter. I think she scored maybe her first 6 points, and I was like, all right, here we go. Knew this was going to be an issue, but I appreciate that we attacked her, got her in foul trouble, which she's prone to do, and that helped us out for sure. You can be as good of a player as you want to be if you can't stay on the court. Then I mean, we experienced that with some of our players, so that's part of the game. But yeah, I just thought overall this team just continues to find ways to win late. They don't get frustrated. There was a few huddles in this where just the players took over, and I noticed that, and I asked about it post game, and Gerlich was like, yeah, I saw them over there running the huddle themselves, and so I just didn't go over there. Like I knew that they had it, and so when you have seniors that are taking over the huddles in that way, it's a very, very good sign. Then that's why you win close games like this. So that's kind of my biggest thoughts on the game overall. We'll show the highlights, but I'm sure Tyler has some as well, so go for it, and then we'll jump into the highlights.
Yeah, I really like the way that we finished out this game. It seemed like the refs honestly were giving Kansas every chance to get back in it and make it be a single possession game, but we were able to pull through. And I totally picked up on that during the game. I was like, oh, I didn't realize how quickly Jalen had gotten into foul trouble earlier. But then near the end of the game, I was like, at some point, we're going to have to put Jalen in here to help get some sort of rebound or something. Even after Davis fouled out, I was like, we have to get Jalen in here. And sure enough, Jalen had those huge defensive plays. She had a huge rebound that we were able to grab, and then we were able to get back down there. And our free throw shooting
Forced to
down the
steal as
line
well.
was clutch as well. Yeah, forced to steal as well. So, and then that like phantom call at the end was irritating on her, but at least we were able to
Both of
put
her
ourselves in
final
a
2 fouls
position.
were absolutely not fouls, but
It
it's
was
fine,
not,
whatever. We
yeah,
won, so
they were
I
not
feel for her.
fouls.
It's that
Yeah,
I
it's
called
whatever.
Kansas gangly giraffes. The refs
Yes,
were rewarding them for being out of control and off balance. Like it's not our fault that they can't dribble and
exactly.
go to the basket without falling over. I don't know. It's just frustrating. So hopefully, I don't know if they get the benefit of that every game, but hopefully that won't be that way in Kansas. Although their coach post game seems to think they'll get 40 free throws when this game is played in Kansas. Those were his words, but it's fine. Whatever. Continue.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. But yeah, other than that, Bailey, I mean again, Bailey came up really clutch in this. Snudda, they did their job, and yeah, I agree that all of our role players I mean again, big shout out to Sydney. Sydney's really kind of like taken over as kind of being like that second point guard option that we've been needing, especially earlier in the season, especially when
Good little
sometimes Emma
closer.
has a little bit of struggling. Yeah. So being able to close out there, and then Danae's defense on Nichols, I thought it was exceptional compared to years past. Like Danae definitely was doing all that she could to really try to stop Nichols, get Nichols in foul trouble.
She only
So
had 3 fouls too. And I looked at the box
yes,
score after, and to only have 3 fouls while guarding Samaya Nichols is a feat in itself. And
it's
then at least,
impressive.
and one of those should have been a jump ball. I don't, again, a phantom call. She had her hands on the ball, and they called it a foul. But I don't know. I don't remember what the other 2 were. I just remember that one being egregious. So yeah, I thought that was really impressive. You knew
And
Nichols was
she
going to
led
get
us in
going. She is a second
rebounds.
half
Danae
player.
did.
Of course she did. Yeah, she's just doing all the
Yeah.
little things. Continuing, she's doing what she's supposed to out there as a leader for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I thought that we did great. Way to close it out at the end, get that dub, and yeah, we got. I mean,
Got it done.
that was a big one. We got it done.
The highlights and talk through it more. You'll see Bailey mopping again. She was Bailey mopping in this. I think 17 of her points came in the second half, 12 in the fourth quarter. They were not face guarding her. If you ask their head coach after the game, I love Brandon Snyder's from West Texas, so I got a lot of respect for him. He was rightfully upset after the game that perhaps knocked them out of tournament contention. So anyway, I asked the strategy on Bailey, and he said no, we weren't face guarding her, but we maybe did over deny her a few times, too many, and she was able to back cut. I was like, all right, cool. Anyway, whatever their defense was, it seemed like they didn't want her to get the ball, and whatever he wants to call that. And Bailey did a good job adjusting by back cut Bailey. I don't know why anyone would guard her that way, to be honest, but she's great at those back cuts, and Jada and some others found her a few times. You'll see that in the highlights. But she had 0 points in the first quarter and then scored 23 the rest of the way and a lot in the fourth quarter. And Snubbit kind of the same thing. They were doubling her early and she took over late. So Sarah had a pretty good game. Again, her length was important. She finished some buckets big. I mean, that was a great pass. You really felt like Jada was going to have a good game in this, and she started out strong, and then we just went other directions. But, like, I don't. Yeah, please, she can make that.
Look at that.
We needed her in that first quarter because it was a struggle.
There was.
Ooh, what a pass, Jay. That was big stuff. For a bit, they were doubling Snoda, and so we put Jalen and Snoda out there together, and then they couldn't double them both.
Huge moment.
Our defense just really turned it up in the second quarter. Snoda was great in this defensively. It's like she remembered how long she was. She's done that in a few games, Mississippi State, and now this one. Massive moment.
There we go.
Back-to-back threes to start the second quarter to tie the game up. And then another three to take those 3 threes in a row, 9-0 run to start the second quarter. And we kind of never looked back from there. It was a close game, but we had the lead for most of the game after that moment. Sarah's finishing a lot better of late. I really appreciate that. I don't know how she made that. I don't know if y'all saw. I posted a clip. I asked her after the game, Bailey, how did you make that layup? It's always good when you can get Bailey Maupin to break character a little bit in those post games. She's so media trained, bless her. But no, she's great. But yeah, she just said, I just closed my eyes. And she laughed. And when she got up and left, she said, no, they were really close. Like, go back and watch. So I don't know if anybody has a view from down there. She says she did. She's clearly looking after she looks up, but maybe she got bumped and just threw it. I don't know. It happens, but that's Bailey Maupin. When you've been around the goal that much, you know where it is. It's always in the same spot.
That is true.
That was a great little two-man pass over to Snoda. Bailey and Snoda are just tough bucket getters, and when you have 2 tough bucket getters on the team, you can win ugly games like this. Make it 3, because Sydney, I thought she had a really good feel for this game of when she needed to get a couple of really tough buckets in that fourth. Great pass.
Wow.
Felt like maybe we could run away with it at times in the fourth quarter, but then they put Kansas in bonus with like 7.5 minutes to go, and Kansas just shot free throws the rest of the game. Yeah, that was, if that wasn't a thing, we would have probably won handedly, but it is what it is. That's how they play. They're good at it. Just around 6 assists per game in terms of what she, we haven't really seen her do that much tonight because all the different. I don't know what's going to happen here. This is a long developing play. Oh, this is one of those bad cut moments. Great pass. Again, we told you Copeland's a good little defender, but Bailey has height on her, so when she got those back cuts, she could just shoot over her. She couldn't really catch up. That was, I mean, that's a tough bucket.
That was like the good night bucket, in a sense. You could kind of feel.
And they're not going to show the last 2 minutes. I don't blame them. It was just a lot of fouls and weirdness in the last 2 minutes, but I just
like
was really impressed with their ability to kind of, just like, oh God, that game was so long. The whole game was insanely long. I don't think I left the arena that night until like 10:30 or 11, and the game started at 6. Like, by the time I did post game and all the content afterwards, I was like, it's 10:30.
I left the men's game earlier last night than the women's game. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, that game. Anyway. Yeah. So, just again, this team's maturity continues to impress. I mean, that game was, I think I said on Twitter and in a recap, like, that game was just like begging a team to quit, like begging you to quit, and we just said no. And we've had teams here in the past, and a lot of teams around the country that do quit in those kind of moments, and that's kind of what Kansas is banking on, is that you don't want to kind of get in the mud with them like that. And we were fine going there and kind of fighting through it. So. Another game where they did their damn thing. It's one of the best stories in college basketball. This Lady Raider team this year. The more people start to pay attention to it, the more context you understand about the team. It definitely is. Whether that full story ever gets told or not, that's up to them, I guess. But there's a lot of footnotes to the story that it's just impressive what they're doing. And I'm kind of right where Gerlich is I just want to see this team keep playing as long as possible. And to keep getting better. Again, it's not a perfect game, but they did turn over less. I mean, only like 12 or 13 turnovers in this. A few of those were in the fourth quarter. Like, you don't want that to happen, but we settled in after that. Took care of it pretty well. I think we wanted to turn Kansas over at least 20 times. I think that's right on the nose of what we got there. Scored about 15 points off of turnovers, if I remember correct. It's been a long few days, guys. Sorry. But we did some good things in this, but most of all, we won. And at this point in the year, that's really all that matters. I mean, it's always all that matters, I guess, but more so this time of year, right? Is you're gonna get marginally better each game, but This is not November where you're like, oh God, a close game. You know what I mean? Like, no, this is a postseason type feel to this game. And Kansas is a team that a lot of people aren't going to want to face down the stretch, and we get to do it again. So the post game press conferences were more. Neither coach really wanted to give anything up about the game plan, so that was expected. So you didn't get a lot of like stuff like that. Neither it was more kind of off the court stuff for Texas Tech about the Yow stuff, which we can talk about a little bit. And then the Kansas coach just didn't. Again, he just rightfully didn't want to be in there, so he respectfully answered the questions everybody had, and then got on the bus. We face each other not very long from now, like a week or 2 weeks from now. We go up there, and so
Crazy.
both teams were kind of keeping it close to the vest as they would in those moments. So, yeah, we can speak to a little bit of the Yow stuff if you want to, but wrap up the game if you have any other thoughts on that before we jump into that.
I know we can jump right into the KL thing because I thought that was a really cool story just to have Bailey. Bailey obviously selected as the KL Servant Leader Award winner, and
Yeah.
then for that game to be dedicated with Coach Gerlich's history, she battled with breast cancer her first or second year coaching while she was still coaching here. Right,
Yeah, kind of
kind
like
of like in
spanned
that
over
time
those
range.
first 2 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Within that time range. So I mean, I thought that having that entire game was important. The revealing of the pink uniforms, I thought that was really cool as well. That Adidas does that, and that we partnered with that. But it was pretty. I mean, it was a pretty cool story to see that.
Yeah, and I mean that story's told like every year at this time when we have that
It
game, but
is.
it's sad that it takes them winning for it to maybe get more traction amongst Texas Tech fans because maybe in past years they've brushed off Gerlich's story, which is
That is
terrible. They should
true.
never brush off like the fact that she was coaching through cancer. But we posted that video. I think I posted her telling that same story the last 2 years in a post game press conference because she talks about how she didn't used to talk about it, but ever since she does, I mean, she openly speaks about that year of her life or the years since of
Hmm.
her life all the time because she wants to bring awareness. And so she spoke about it again. We posted the clip, and that video is still going all over the place. And a lot of it's from Tech fans saying they didn't know about it and they gained a whole new appreciation for it. And I'm like, that's great, but this is not a new story. But in the past, it's just kind of like people just brushed it off because they weren't winning, which is just horrible. But anyway, we won't get into that. Humans are sometimes not very nice people, I guess, but the things they do.
Right.
But yeah, no, I've always had a lot of respect for her. Like cancer, like I think she said her post game is like affects like 1 in 3 people are gonna have cancer, women. So she knows that like someone in that locker room is probably gonna have it, and so like teaching her players like how to bond and stay together. So when that moment comes down the line, like y'all are all gonna be there for each other. And I know my family's been affected by cancer. I'm sure Tyler knows people that have as well. Like everybody has in some way. It's just a terrible disease. So I always appreciate those games and that it brings awareness in the right way, but it's also really cool to have two leaders in Gerlich and then also Bailey, like you said, as a KL. She had great things to say. I asked her, what's it like to see all your jerseys in the stands? Kind of knowing that this was going to be Bailey Maupin's answer, but wanted to hear from her. And she said, yeah, the only thing that really matters is those jerseys were pink. She said that because that's what today is all about. And Bailey has a friend or a teammate from high school that has beaten cancer in recent years, but she did that. They did that joint kind of honor her game a couple of years ago against Oklahoma State, if y'all remember that. And that was always really um, powerful that year. And I believe she's doing well now. She was in the middle of kind of fighting cancer at the time, so she's obviously at a young age already been very much affected by it. So it's not a surprise that KL picked her for that. I think that's a new thing that they're doing, which is really cool. So yeah, really cool game. Always appreciate that they do that. But yeah, we got a couple of really good leaders on this team. I'm sure a lot of players on this team. I know Jalen has a personal story with cancer with some people in her family. She's kind of talked about on social media before. A lot of them have been affected, and so I know it meant a lot to them. And it just felt like maybe that gave them a little extra push in a game that you had to fight to win. That's kind of what the cancer game is all about: is fighting to win against a battle, a very different battle from basketball, but the sentiment is there. So this team has never had an issue fighting. And they did it in this game. So yeah, it's always a cool initiative. But if you didn't know that story about Gerlich or any of the stories we just told about the other players, now you do. But yeah, it's not a new one. But I do appreciate that more people are learning about this team this year. Winning brings attention, and that allows people to see the cool stories and the cool humans and people that are on this team, which I think is what I appreciate. I mean, that's why I do sports media. That's why I got into it the first time, is telling stories, right? Is to be like that person in the middle that, yeah, when the tension's there, hey, come on over here. Like, Tyler's the same way. He's on the board. Like, we know everything about this team. So I love that y'all are here, ask questions, all that. Like, that's why we're here. It's like we're blabbing to the ether. Like, when they're not winning, we're still talking about it. We know everything. So that's what our job is to do, is to tell these stories. And I wish I had more time to do it, but I know Tyler feels the same way. But we do our best, the best we can, because there's some awesome people in this program. So I'll leave it there. We got other things to talk about. But Tyler, if you want to close it out, you can, or jump into Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Oh, and then another big thing from Gerlich's presser, I guess, just housekeeping things. They did end up asking about Stephanie Okechukwu, our seven
Oh,
foot
yes.
oneer,
Go for it.
on
Yeah.
if she'll be able to play this season. And Gerlich said, just flat out said no, likely not. At this point, it's already late in the season. She said it's really not fair to her. They're having transcript issues, trying to get her a full 4 years of eligibility, understandably so. And it's also just the team right now is really tight. They have great chemistry. Everything's going, I mean, well, obviously for the team. So she just said they're not expecting her to step on this season. And honestly, at this point, yeah, I totally agree with that decision. I think it'll be fine. And I mean, we will get a 7 foot one player for hopefully 4 years after this.
4 years. Yeah.
I think, yeah,
I think
four
that's
years. So that'll be
big
exciting.
the big thing. Some people are confused, and if you haven't been, like, we've given you like periodic updates on this show, or if you've been watching the press conference, you've seen it, but it became clear it wasn't necessarily an NCAA eligibility issue pretty quickly in the process. So if y'all are confused on that, this is not the NCAA saying she can't play. It's very different from the G League thing. What happened is it was kind of revealed, which I mean, I don't know if the team knew or whatever, but we didn't. Not everybody was aware that she was at a previous institution before that. That wasn't public knowledge. So I think everybody was assuming, oh, this will be easy to get her. Everybody outside of the organization, let me make that clear. I'm sure they had all the
Hmm.
information. No, this is G League. They're letting pro players play. Like, this is nothing. But since she was, at least for a semester, at a different country, I want to say the Philippines is what Gerlich said a few weeks ago. They were working on getting transcripts. That makes her a transfer, right? So that changes how mid-year enrollees happen. And there is still a chance, they said, that she could get a waiver or something, but they're just like probably not going to force it at this point because of the team chemistry thing. But on the note of team chemistry, she's great. She's like one of the best 5 people on the team and cheering them on. So yeah, just in short, it's basically a transcript issue. She was at a previous place, and now it's like they want to make sure she has all 4 years, and they don't want to just play her this year, and then that actually takes away, if she only has 2 years or something, then she only has 1. Like, they're trying to be smart about her future. And also this team, we talked about that in her original episode. Like, she was only ever going to be like a 5 to 10 minute player this year anyway. And so now, do you want to do that if it would lose a year of eligibility and you don't know how many she'll have? But sounds like she'll have 4 years. That's what they're confident in. She'll play next fall. They're just being smart about it. I don't think it would have changed a whole lot for this year's team. We ended up beating one of the teams we thought we needed her for. So like
Oh, literally.
that might also be a part of the equation too. They're like, hey, we just beat a team with 2 6'7" players. Like, we might be all right, to just do what we do and then work on that in the future. But yeah, I appreciate that she gave information. And Gerlich's been very forthright with that information the whole time. Like, nobody's been hiding anything. Every time she's been asked, she's given an update. Just for like 3 weeks in a row, it was the same update, that it was transcript issues. But she finally just kind of said they're not going to push it, as seems like, any further. So yeah, there's your update on that. The team is moving forward, though, to play Oklahoma State on the road, a team we have not beat in a few years, not since the new coaching staff. I don't think we've ever beaten the current regime that is there. We've played some really tough games and close games with them, both home and at the Big 12 tournament. Oklahoma State is 19-7, 8-5 in Big 12 play. They're kind of a game behind us, 2 games behind us in the standings. 31 in the net. They're 1.5 point favorites and have a 64% chance to win. Interesting team. They're just a completely different team at home. So that's kind of my big thing on them. Before I flip it over to Tyler, is it's almost like you have to scout this team and prepare for them based on who they are and how they play at home. And I have more stats and splits on that in a minute after Tyler breaks down the roster, but just completely different team home and away, and the way that they play tracks with that. And you're going to have to go into a tough environment, which is going to be packed. Hopefully you'll have 2 bus loads of fans in there that'll help out with that some. But it's going to be a rowdy environment. They usually show out well for ranked opponents, with that crowd. We'll see if they have a good crowd, and you're gonna have to beat them, bring the toughness, all the things that they pride their program on, and they talk about are things that you do as well. But we've been really good on the road. Road dogs, capital W. You're gonna need the dog factor times 1,000 to get it done on the road. But again, if you want to host, that's become a goal for this team. I don't know. I'm not in their locker room, but it's certainly on the table because of what they've done recently. This would be a game you probably need to go get it to prove that you can do it. I think that would be a quad 1 win. Nope, right outside of quad 1. It would be quad 2 win, right? No, it'd be a quad 1 win. What does it have to be on the road?
31 in the net. I think
Top
it's
45 on the road or something like that. I think it's a quad 1 win.
I think so.
Because it's on the road. Yeah. So another quad 1 win. You could be 4-0 in quad 1 wins with 3 of those coming on the road. That's a super impressive stat. So anyway, take it away, Tyler. Who do we have to worry about? Let them know.
Yeah, and to emphasize about this home record, they're 13-1 at home. And if I'm going to be honest, they really should be 14-0. They were playing Baylor and they were up on Baylor by like 20 points, and then for some reason they just broke down in the fourth quarter and let Baylor win like the fourth
Yeah,
quarter
almost a 30
28
point
to
lead
like
in that
9.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was insane. So I mean, if we need to go have a 30-point fourth quarter, then I'm all down for that. That'll be
That is a
super
good
hype
note.
for us.
Even
Yeah.
if you're down, take over in the fourth
Take
mentally.
over in the fourth for that. But yeah, they're a really interesting team, and there are some similarities. Definitely, I think that we definitely have size on them for sure, but they also kind of have similarities where they have some really strong role players that are coming off the bench in this game that can accompany their starters. Right now, the starters that they have out there is Akot. She's from UCF. She transferred in.
UCF. Yeah.
Um, Yes, she's averaging about 11 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. She's a 6'1" forward. Definitely one of the more athletic forwards that you've played in a while. But well, you just played Jalea Davis, so like honestly, I don't. I honestly, I think, I yeah. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not really super worried about her necessarily. I feel like that we'll have a good plan for her, but I'm most mainly worried about Oklahoma State's guards. Micah Gray has been having herself a season with 15 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. She's a 35% 3-point shooter. And then Haley Timmer, a 5'11" guard, 12.5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and almost a 44% 3-point shooter with that as well. You got good old Staley Hurd. We all know her name. We call her Goggle Girl because she was the one that dropped, like, she would always have a career high against us, and then she would always get to the free throw line 50 million times. She's kind of
Mm.
had a little bit
Yeah.
of a down part of the season, but now she's starting to get back up in that in some of these games. So she's right now at 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and then 2 steals in that. Amari Whiting, if you remember the name, she was at BYU when her mom was coaching there. Her mom got booted, and then Amari went over to Oklahoma State. She's also really good. She's your box score filler girl. She has like 11 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, 2 steals. I mean, obviously, she's going to be all over the place. She's really great at doing that. And then their bench players. They're really, really strong bench player. Jaden Wooten has 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals.
She's a hooper.
She is a hooper. She's the one that arguably probably is giving one of the players that may be giving Snutt a runner up for sixth woman of
It's
the year in the
basically
Big
those
12.
two. Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's between those two. So I mean that'll be a good matchup to kind of see. And then they also have a freshman guard, Lena Girardi.
Girardi, it's
10. Yes.
her dad was the New York Yankees manager for years, won World Series. He'll probably be at the game.
Holy cow!
Joe
Wow,
Joe
that's so cool.
Girardi is her dad. But
Wow.
as a basketball player, I'm a big fan of her. Before I even realized
Yeah.
it, I just turned on their first few games of the year, and I didn't know who she was. And then I was like, who is number whatever for Oklahoma State? And I was like, oh, that's Joe Girardi's daughter. But she is a dog. To have the dog factor as a freshman is impressive. Now she struggles defensively at times, but she'll take every big shot you give her. And she like broke her or dislocated her elbow or something crazy earlier in the year. And she's already back. Like she missed a few
Oh
games.
my
She's just a tough,
gosh.
tough player.
Really?
Yeah, she's a dog,
Definitely.
like capital W dog.
That's wow. That's really impressive. Yeah, I mean she's having like almost 10 points a game. She's a 40% 3-point shooter. I mean, 3 rebounds. I mean, Oklahoma State, they're a great team. They're a great team offensively. I mean, they have 114 efficiency rating. Their defense is also exceptionally well, 85.9. So I mean, they're definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be a tough game, especially when you're playing them at home. But our thing is like we're really going to have to focus on what we do best, especially on defense. I think that you can score on Oklahoma State. I feel like their defense is. I feel like their defense is not anything like superb as like other teams that we have played. I'm just am more worried about how we're going to stop like a lot of their guards because their guards are all averaging double figures. I mean, that's one, two, three, four, five. So that's almost like 7 or 8 players that can go shoot the ball for them on any given night. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just say we lock down Staley Hurd, someone else is going to be able to step up and drop,
Yeah.
15, 20.
Yeah, this is not a team where you take one player out of it and it hurts
Mm-hmm.
their team. Like I mean, we're kind of like that. You said there's some similarities between us, right? It is in that way where we have different guards or different players we can go to. If a team keys on one player, okay, then Snuda can take it. If they key on Snuda, okay, Bailey's got it. Yeah, we've seen Jalen step up in games where we really needed her to, and Danae at times is even had double figures, and different people on this team can step up, and they're the same way. So I agree. All of our guards, Danae Fritz is going to be Danae Fritz. I don't know who they're going to put her on. It pick your poison, really. Hurd probably, but when Wooten was the one that was earlier in the year carrying them. She was the best player on their team when Hurd was struggling. Wooten was carrying them off the bench. She was averaging like Snuda numbers. For a while, they were averaging both around 15, 16 points a game. She's kind of fallen off recently. She's still averaging about 10 points a game over her last 5 or 10, but not as much as she was. And now Gray has kind of taken off more. So that's kind of how they are, like similar to us, where they have different people being hot in different points of the season. Haley Timmer was in Fuego and non-con, but once she's gotten to the athleticism in the Big 12, she's kind of cooled off. She's a great shooter, but just her ability to drive hasn't been as big of a weapon as it was for her in the non-con. But she's a player for sure, and she has some good height. Staley Hurd is an interesting player when they kind of go how she goes. Hopefully the officiating isn't giving her a bunch of touch fouls. I do think the hot stove change rule has maybe affected her a little bit. She's not getting as easy of fouls called against her because people can
For
actually play
sure.
defense on her now. Hopefully you have refs that know the rule book and know that is allowed this year. That helped us against Nichols, to be honest. There was a lot of fouls called in the Kansas game, but today could play real defense on Nichols, and that helps. She's going to need to be able to do that in this. So yeah, I don't know. This might be a game where Danae roams around from person to person, like whoever is getting hot, trying to keep them all in check and try not to get people going. But I'm not worried about Danae Fritz. You need Bailey Maupin to have one of her best defensive games ever. You need Hemma to do what she does. You need Sydney to step up. You need Snuda to step up and guard, even if they're smaller players than her on the guard level. You need Jalen to block shots because they will drive to the rim. You need Jalen to be able to play perimeter defense as well because they shoot a shit ton of threes. They shoot like 43% of all their shots come from the 3-point line. And that's a big reason why when you live and die by the 3 in that way, in my opinion, that's why they're a better home team than an away team, because you're going to naturally shoot better on the court that you practice on every day. And the truth of the matter is you just got to ignore the fact that they lost to some teams they probably shouldn't, or that aren't as good as them on the road, because it's all been on the road. At
Mm-hmm.
home, they're a very good team, and you're playing them at home, so that's all that matters. I'll pull up the stats. Let me just run through them for you. At home, you mentioned their defense isn't great. That's true. Away, they have 101.9 defensive rating, which is terrible. 31st percentile in the country. Home, 75 defensive rating, 96th percentile. So their defense is better, their offense is better, all of it's better. They average 91 points per game at home, 73 on the road. They average 21 assists at home, 13 away.
Wow.
15 offensive rebounds at home, only 11 away. 27 defensive boards versus 21. 12 steals versus 8. Let's see. True shooting percentage is 60% versus 53. 3-point shooting percentage is 55% versus 38% on the road. Just
Oh my
everything you can
gosh.
imagine is better at home, which for some teams that's always true, right? But for them, it's like to an nth degree. For whatever reason, no matter the level of opponent, you're playing them at home, so that's the team you're playing. I would literally only look at their home stats and be like, okay, this is the team we're playing, because that's who you're going to get, and that's who you're going to have to guard. So, like I said, they shoot 43% of their shots from the outside, and when they're hitting them, they're a really hard team to beat because they're get going. They can get into cold spells though. That's kind of what happened in the Baylor game. They were in Fuego. They were Actually, they might not have hit a ton of. I can't remember, but they had it going in that game, and then they just Wooten got in foul trouble. She was the one that was making that team go in that game, and she didn't play most of the fourth quarter, and they came back. So yeah, it's just you got to go with the game flow in this. I think they do interestingly allow a really high finishing rate at the rim, which we talked about struggling with of late. But if we can get back to being good at that all of a sudden, that would be lovely. They allow 62% finishing at the rim, which is really high, but they don't really let you get there a lot. Only 23% of their opponent shots come at the rim. So they do a lot of, seems like when you get, they sag back and say, take tough twos. Like a lot of defenses try to make you, they force people to take a lot of shots in the lane area. Like that's the highest percentage of where opponents take shots, which in theory could be good for us because we shoot at a very high rate there, like over 47%, but we also don't take any shots there. It's like at the lowest place on the court that we take shots. We take more mid-range shots than we do in the lane. Like it's wild. So I don't know. Snoda's really good in that area. If they're going to allow Snoda to get into that kind of right where the Big 12 logo is and up to the free throw line area, she'll cook all day there if they're going to allow it. But maybe some other people could as well, because it seems like they're not going to let you get to the rim is their goal. Can you take them there? But on the flip side, I don't really want to, I want to try to get to the rim. I don't want to take our aggressiveness away. Right. And then you talked about a Cot. She is good, and she is going to give us issues. That's bar none. She's athletic. She's big, but she gets in foul trouble, similar to Davis. And we did a good job of attacking Davis for Kansas and getting her in foul trouble. She cooked for a little bit, but then she was sitting on the bench. A Cot might have stretches where she does really well, but if we attack her, maybe we finish over her, and if we don't, she fouls us. Get her on the bench. So, yeah, just take your attack mindset. All of our guards got to have a game. I mean, everybody on the team has to have a game, but specifically our guards because of the players they have. And Jalen, again, blocking shots. If our guards get beat off the dribble, I think will be big, as it always has been this year. So trying to keep her out of foul trouble will be lovely. Again, there's not a big, I think Jalen will have to guard 1-for-1, so maybe that'll help her keep out of foul trouble. She just can't grab and stuff in the press. They will turn it over some. That's been an issue for them at times this year, but they also have a veteran in Amari Whiting, who's one of the better point guards in the country. So they'll try to press you. If they get down, they'll break out of press. It's not an all-game thing for them, but the games I've seen where they've been down, like Colorado, they were down and then they went to the press and they almost came back and won. So as a team, you'll have to be ready for different things. Well coached, a lot of athletes. Gonna be a good basketball game. If you give yourself a chance, just like you did at West Virginia and Baylor, same kind of mindset. Gotta go. We get every 50-50 ball. It's the whole 50-50 balls can't be 50-50 balls in this game. What did we say in the Big 12 tournament last year against OK State? I think that was that game where we're like 50-50 balls have to be 70-30 balls against OK State in that game. It's kind of the same mindset. If you bring that, I think you have better shot makers. If you bring that same attitude they did in the Big 12 tournament, I think you can get a win. But it's going to be very impressive. Again, you're not picked to win this game, right? You're not. The computers are like, it's going to be tough, right? Everybody feels that way, but I do think you have the personnel to do it. Again, there's nobody on our schedule this team can't beat. So I'm excited. Maybe we'll hit some big shots from the outside from Fritz, and maybe Jalen will get going or someone. You're going to need some other people to step up because Oklahoma State will have a good plan for Bailey. They always do tend to try to take Bailey out of games. I think she's grown a lot in that area, as we saw against Kansas. And she has better counterparts this year with Snuda and other people. So maybe that helps, but they do tend to try to. JC knows Bailey well because she recruited Bailey. So she kind of knows. JC Hort, their head coach. But I'm excited for Bailey to go up there and do her thing. All the players. I think JC tried to recruit like our entire team, actually. So it's an interesting game from a recruiting standpoint as well. There's a lot of interesting dynamics with this game being as close as they are, and from recruiting and just competitiveness standpoint. So I'm excited for it. I wish if I could have gone, I would have gone, but traveling this week. But those fan buses are going to be hype. I've already heard from a lot of people that are going to be on them and they're excited. So Tyler's going to hold it down.
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun, and we're gonna go in there, we're gonna paint Stillwater red, and we're gonna come out with a huge win. Because also,
I can't wait to hear Raider
the Big 12 right now is getting kind of shaken up.
We're tied for first, basically.
Baylor tonight, yeah, tied for first. We're technically half a game behind, but West Virginia has their bye week.
They haven't had their bye yet.
Not this week. They haven't had their bye yet.
So if we win on Saturday, we would then be tied.
Yes.
Or
so
take a half game
things.
lead, actually. Yeah. So I can't wait. Yeah, it's
Crazy.
crazy. This team very much does have a chance to win the Big 12 title, as does like 5 other
I mean,
teams. So like it's very
they
close.
controlled their own destiny. They went out. They're in a
We
good. I mean, they
if
get
you
it.
look at it
Like
though, we are all these other top teams in that group have all kind of beaten each other. We're the team
hmm
that has beaten all of them.
all of them. Yeah,
We haven't played
it's
Colorado
crazy.
yet, and now we haven't played Oklahoma State yet. We're gonna get those chances in these next couple of games. But we've beaten
Right.
TCU, we've beaten Baylor, we've beaten West Virginia, and those three specifically have kind of all traded off against each other in some way. So that helps us for sure. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna come down to the wire. The tournament feels likely now. Now it's like, okay, seeding Big 12 title. Let's cook. Why not? I mean, that would be so hype. I'd be so happy for this team if they could win. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it yet. It's too many games to go, but to be in the fight, 5 games to go, telling you one of the best stories in college sports. I'm hoping they start to get more national attention for it as well. This would definitely help them do that if they can get this win. So
Sure.
we could yap about them more, but we got to get into softball. We'll be back to celebrate their big win, big road win, on Monday's episode or whatever that'll be. Softball though, we'll have played 4 more games by then because that's softball. Now they're 8-0 after getting 2 wins to open up the Clearwater Invitational. One over number 6 Florida State, and then later in the day took care of Northwestern, who's a solid team. They made the tournament last year and basically returned their entire team. So not a bad squad, but you are definitely better than them. Biggest takeaway from these games is the analysts in both games were like, just don't let Texas Tech hit the home run ball and force them to do other things. And I think you have a chance to beat them. That's what both of their broadcasters were saying in both games. I guess that's a fair talking point, but we won both games without a single home run. So I think that was good to see that we can win in different ways and just found a way. KT was brilliant in the Florida State game at the plate and in
Oh
the
my
circle.
God. Yes.
Mia Williams was in Fuego last weekend, and she had some hits in these games or got on base in some big moments. But I think KT's been the most steady player, the best player on this team. She seems motivated, and she's carrying a little bit of a bigger load for us than maybe she will even later in the season because Nija's still getting up to speed, and she's doing it well. It's like she knew, hey, we kind of tried to tell you all this. That she was mostly like she might be the ace. I think we said that in the preview. Like just the way they were talking about ramping Nija up. And Nija's still getting the big starts or whatever, but today they said, no, you take the ball against Florida State. And she did her damn thing. So gave up an early run, but then she locked in. And then the second run of the game was not on her. It was not an earned run. A couple of tough defensive miscues. But then we had a couple of great defensive plays in Logan Holloman. Showdown at the end. Big shouts to Logan Holloman. So she scored, I guess you want to call it, ended up being the winning run, the third run of the game as a pinch runner. She stole second, and then she was the back end player that came around to score in the double. And then the next inning, she ran down that ball in foul territory, got an out, and then, of course, the big one that everybody's seen. The catch at the wall, Florida State celebrating. Logan throws it in. Quick turn by Haley Tony to get it over to first, and they double him off. Just an electric softball game early in the season. Good for softball that was on ESPN 2, I think. Again, this is why all games should be streamed because you never know what's going to happen. Imagine if some of that stuff was not on video, growing the game, and I'm happy that Texas Tech was a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, today's game, again, it was just like the A&M game. I mean, it was huge, and I love the way that we were able to still find ways to score. I don't know why the announcers were trying to harp on this whole home run thing when we still have half of last year's team that small balled their way basically
Like,
to the
specifically
national
Maya
championship
and
game.
Logan, who were the biggest two
No,
people a
literally.
part of that. Anyway.
Literally right there. I was just like, I don't understand that whole talking point, but I mean, they came up clutch when we needed them too. And I mean, that was absolutely huge. KT was just locked in the entire game. She didn't let that one run get to her. I mean, she just
She
absolutely
never
was just
does, yeah.
dominating. And she got the scoring party honestly started with that huge double that she ended up having in that game. And then Maya was
Almost a
able
home
to bring
run.
her in. Yeah, literally, I thought it was a home run.
Top
I
of the
was like,
wall.
holy shit, KT.
Yeah, the
Like,
wind had to be blowing in or something. It was
nuts.
just weird. Like we had 3 or 4 that could have been home runs, and they held up at the wall, and
Yeah.
hers hit the wall. So,
Alana came
and
close
theirs, to be
too.
honest,
Like,
I
yeah.
thought theirs was a home run too, but that held up, and Logan went and got it. So, but it evened out. Like if the ballpark was a little smaller or the wind wasn't blowing it, whatever was going on, we would have had 3 or 4 home runs, and it wouldn't have been a close game.
I agree.
But we found a way to win anyway.
Yeah.
Let's show the
and get a
highlights.
Win against number 6.
And then we can read off the stats. If you want to pull up the box score and just read through the stats or something while we're showing the highlights, we can do that. And then because we have another game to do as well. KT, whoop. Sit him down. Would she end up with like 7 strikeouts or 8 strikeouts in this game? I can pull it up.
6
6.
strikeouts.
Okay. No, it was Nyjah in the next game that had 8. Yeah, and this guy had a tiny strike zone. To get 6 strikeouts from this guy, yes. Oh my god. That was part of our issue is Florida State maybe recognized that quicker than we did. I don't know. It felt like KT was pitching bad. She was great. But they were not throwing strikes, and we were just chasing them. Great play by Jackie Liz. She's not a natural outfielder, but she looked pretty natural on that.
That left field spot
is
going to be so fun this year.
I mean, is this it? Taylor Panel makes a great play, too. Here it is. Diving from her knees over to Nyjah, who stretches out. I mean, great defensive plays in this game. Again, a couple of tough plays back-to-back end up giving them a run late, but otherwise our defense was stellar. Hunter Veach, a wizard on the defensive side, coaching-wise. There's KT. We put out the Patrick Yoga tweet right before this, and he came through for us. KT said, I'll do it myself. I get my run back. They're still doing that celebration. Everyone thought that was a World Series thing. They were doing it all year last year. So just put it down that they're doing it again before we get to Oklahoma City. Look at that athlete. That is your starting pitcher. I mean, great base running. Didn't hesitate. She knew that ball was getting down and went.
Jackie Liz.
I mean, she rightfully... Yeah, it might have been on some days. Rightfully earned the start in the nightcap because she earned it in this game at shortstop. So that was like clearly a strike. I don't know why she thought it was a ball, and I don't know why the announcers like acted like it was. I was like, it clearly is not. Here's the play, Logan, all the way. She had it all the way.
I mean,
she was unconcerned. And that throw, and then I think was that Tony that quick turned it, or Mia, whoever ended up there on the relay, and just the way that I mean, I don't blame her necessarily, but also. The runner should never have been celebrating there. The hitter, it's fine. Like, she thought it was gone. I don't know what the runner was thinking. Like, she'll learn from that. Both teams will learn from it. We had some base running miscues too, but early in the year, that's a tough one. You cannot get doubled off in that moment, but Logan got it done. And we won the game, everybody lost their mind. The whole team mobbed Logan in the outfield. That's a big Jerry Glasgow thing. He's talked about that before. He's like, when someone makes a big defensive play, y'all better be running out to the outfield to hype them up and celebrate with them. Well, the game was over, so the whole team and coaching staff, you can see Jerry out there. He's chasing them too. He's getting out there with the squad to celebrate with Logan. So it felt a little fitting, as much as they constantly talk about the transfers on this team, as I get it. They're high profile, but they act like there's no one else on the team. It was interesting that they didn't use that moment to mention that Logan Holloman has been on Texas Tech's roster before Jerry Glasgow even got here, but I guess that doesn't fit their narrative of players that have been here. It's fine. So I thought it was fitting that maybe she shut them up a little bit, but they probably don't even know that because, God forbid, do a little research on who's on the team. Anyway, it's fine. It was my rant for the day. No, we love Logan around here. Obviously, we love them all. But hey, Tyler's sleeper pick. Our sleeper picks both came through in this game. Jackie Liz and Logan did a little sleeper pick action for us in this and got it done for the team. So yeah, just big stuff around. And let's just jump right into the Northwestern. Do you have any other final thoughts on Florida State since it's a big win?
Yeah, I mean, no, it was just a big win. They were going through pitchers like crazy, but we'll have to play them again actually at Florida State. So clearly we'll have to see this fun matchup again. So
and by then, by that point in the year, Nyjah is going to be like 100-go Nyjah. And so I think it was smart to hold her for that game and let KT take this one. So just smart coaching all around. But yeah, they maybe didn't start their ace, but they threw her in there at the end once they got the lead. Like, they were trying to win, and we had to face a lot of different arms. And it's hard to adjust, but we did. And people probably, if you get a small zone like that guy was, they're not going to throw strikes at Texas Tech, because we can hit home runs. So they're going to ask us to chase it, and we were kind of obliging for much of this game. And then we started being more patient and got pitches to hit. So this team will wear you down. That's what they were built to do. And then as they get more comfortable as the season goes, you hope that they'll just murder you from the jump. But that's me being greedy. Northwestern, I did not get to watch this. So I'm going to watch the highlights. This is the first time I'm watching the highlights. I was doing some things, did my best to tweet along. And, of course, I wrote the recap anyway, because I can figure that out on the high notes of what happened. I'm decent at my job in that way, but I didn't get to watch it, full disclosure. So I watched the first 2 innings. So I got to see, maybe it's my fault, Sam Lincoln. I apologize. When I was watching, my girl was cooking out there. And then it was literally, I sat down and said, all right, I'm turning it over to y'all. Take care. Get the dub. To some people that were watching and texting me results. And then they were like, Sam started getting in some trouble. So I don't know. That's my bad. But we were doing well before that. Let's just watch the highlights and then go through it. Thought Sam had some big some big outs in the first inning. Her stuff was working pretty well. Lauren Allred just gets hits. I saw this one. I think she got another double later in the game, I believe.
There we go.
Lana got on with a walk.
Loggy.
Burns. Or was that Loggy? It's Loggy.
Yeah, that was Loggy.
Loggy is like, how do you keep her out of lineup? But it's helpful that she can play right field, left field, catcher, first base. It makes it a little bit easier to get her out there. She's having fun too. I like it. Nyjah comes in with the bases loaded at some point. I guess she got out of it. This was been the end of that. Sack fly. Oh, see that? Oh, no. I thought that was back. That's plenty deep to get in. Logan. She could have got in from wait. Logan had a great day. Just key moments in both games. Seemed like, from what I could tell, looking at the stats, and then people that watched it too, you can tell me this. It seemed like Nyjah started looking at her old self when Vic Valdez got behind the plate. Not surprised. That catcher relationship with your pitcher means a lot, and they're very comfortable with each other, for sure.
I mean,
you're gonna have to find a way to get that comfort. Yeah, that was impressive.
That was impressive.
Okay, Mia. Great tag as well. Haley's like, get out, you're out of here. Would you just scurry along? Why are you still standing? Good stuff. Yeah, her and Vic have such a good relationship. I don't know how you figure that out as the season goes, but that's what it's going to be. You got to work with it. You can always DP for Vic. Someone could hit for her if that's what it comes to. And her toe guard fell off, someone told me on Twitter. So Nyjah's out there pitching without her toe guard on her shoe. The mold, I don't even know what that is. They like mold this guard that goes on the tip of your shoe because they're always dragging it on the dirt.
Oh, yeah.
Hers broke off in this game, which especially this early in the year, is weird that it broke off. So she's going to have to get a new one. And she's out there pitching without it. Hopefully not too uncomfortable for one game, but hopefully they can fix that before tomorrow. I don't know, but anyway, Nyjah, their thing. It seemed super flashy from what I saw. I hate that Sam couldn't finish that there, but I understand. That was the questions I was getting. I'll let Tyler talk about it a little bit more because I don't really know the situation she got into, but this weekend is really important because of the lack of maybe bigger games as the non-con goes on. They really need to handle the power conference games they get. So I don't necessarily disagree with making sure you found a way to win this if it got a little hairy, but you also do. I guess Sam was frustrated, but I love that. I'm like, someone told me that like it was a bad thing. I was like, are you kidding me? She didn't want to come out of the game? I'm always worried about Sam, the dog factor, and Sam. I need to go back and watch the replay. That'll probably fire me up if Sam was upset about coming out of the game. I'm like, damn right, you should be upset coming out of the game. Like that's a good thing. To me, that's a great sign. You want competitors on the team, but the coaches got to do what they need to do. And we won the game, so you can't question it. But you can talk about maybe the moments and more because I, again, haven't gotten to watch it. I'm going to go watch it maybe tomorrow while I'm doing some stuff so I can get up to speed on what happened. But I haven't gotten to watch it before recording.
Yeah, I think that the point when it got a little bit hairy was I think we pulled her maybe when there was a runner on third in scoring position, a runner on first, and then I think one of their big bats was up there on it. But we did have 2 outs, so I was like maybe we were gonna try to get her through it, but also like it could have gotten ugly because I think we only had 2 runs up there at the time, so I think we were a little bit. We were a little bit hesitant with that, and I mean, I totally get that. I mean, if we play. I mean, I think Sam will eventually, hopefully there's a game this week where she's able to finish and go through all 7
she's going to pitch again
5
weekend.
Innings. Yeah.
We have maybe NC
we have
State.
so many games
left.
There's
other power
NC
conference
State.
games on her. Yeah.
finish through. I think it was just also a unique situation to have KT pitch the majority of today's game, and then there was Nija warming up in the bullpen. So just maybe kind of getting her to get a little bit of some warming up in and get her out there to try to stop Northwestern from kind of getting back into the game or anything from that, and then just kind of held a steady pace. But from the start, I mean, Sam did look really great. I mean, that lefty pitch hitting
Her
almost
stuff
70
is
miles an
definitely
hour does hit 70 at times. Her stuff is there. So, and I think she probably could have gotten out of it if she stayed in there. But again, I think I understood the call. I mean, because yeah, I mean, one hit and it could have
yeah.
been
It's just their margin for
tight game.
error is really slim. So I get it. I do. Yeah. In a perfect world, I would have loved to be like, oh wow, Sam fought through that moment. Like that's a big confidence builder for her. But yeah, she's just got to wear that on the chin and understand that it's not about her; it's about the team, which I think she gets. I didn't see it. I don't know what everybody's talking about, but that to me is a great sign. Not as long as there was no disrespect or anything, which doesn't sound like there was. I think she was just upset, like she didn't want to leave the game. Like that's not a bad thing. Like that's a good sign. There were times where sometimes last year when you took some players, I'm not speaking about just Sam, but you took some players out of the game last year. It felt like they wanted to leave the game. You know what I mean? In those moments, if Sam didn't want to leave the game in a bases loaded or whatever was the situation, I'm a weird person maybe, but that's my mental sports psychology background. But like that is a great sign for the development of Sam Lincoln that she was pissed off and she thought she was going to get through that, and she probably would have if that's her mindset. But I also don't blame the coach because they got to handle these opportunities they have. You heard them yapping about the schedule all night. People are trying to build that narrative against us. If we lost to Northwestern because they got one pitch and hit it out, and then they just threw junk pitchers the rest of the game, something weird happened, who knows? I get it. I get it from both sides, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. I'm taking that angle because we got a little dog in Sam Lincoln. I mean, let's go. Sign me up. I'm excited to see her pitch. You could see her tomorrow. More likely probably Sunday, but maybe he had a talk and he's gonna be like, all right, Sam, you're in my respect. Go get FAU. Like that would be pretty cool. But they're another ranked team, so we'll see. No, I don't know. I'm weird like that. Maybe I'm weird that way. I don't think I am, but that stuff actually, when people were asking me like in a concerned way, I was like, I need to go watch it. But I was like, she was upset. Let's go. Fire me up.
I agree, and it's like last year's like situation again. Like I was saying, like there's times last year, like you go back to the dreaded, UNT game where it's like, okay, we had to take Sam out.
Nobody
then,
wanted
like,
to
behind
throw.
her. Yeah, no one like behind her, and then it just turned into this entire thing. And I only mentioned that because tonight I I couldn't read right on my phone. I thought it said 5-6. Northwestern was up, but I just saw wrong. It was a 0. So we were all good. But like that was good to have Nija there healthy, in the back in the bullpen to kind of come back and do that. And you even have a second ace in KT. So it's like, I mean, Sam has all that support around her that when she does get in these tough moments, I mean, she has that help behind her, and it's not like it's going completely like, oh, okay, we're kind of going to go off a crazy trail now. Yeah, no, she has a lot more help this year. So I think it'll be good for her.
Well, and you have to remember they're trying to get Nija up to speed as fast as possible. She's a 2-time pitcher of the year, all these things. So that might sound crazy to you, but she really didn't pitch a lot from June to February. They were really
literally
smart about trying to heal that leg and the injuries she had last year that she fought through that can be nagging injuries if you don't handle them well. I mean, speaking of someone that's torn their quad, she didn't fully tear her quad that I know of, but she strained it really bad. Like if you don't take care of that well, it can just continue to pop up. And so they were very smart, as they should have been. And so in a way, you really need her to be in those pressure moments as early as possible and as many as you can to get her up to speed quickly. It's Nija Kennedy. You're going to need Nija to be at tip-top shape by the time Big 12 gets here. And so, yeah, I don't really have an issue with it at all, as long as everything was handled well. I'm hype about it. Call me weird, but I think it's a great sign that Sam Lincoln was pissed if that's what she was. In fact, I might just go find the clip and clip it and be like, oh my God, a dog has been born. Like I'm so excited about this. I'm not even gonna lie. So that's hype. So I'm excited. The KT influence is there. KT would have been pissed pissed if you try to take KT out of game. And that moment might come this year. Like, I don't think, as long as they're not disrespectful, I think coaches want their players to not be happy to leave the game. It's not a good sign if the player's like, yeah, coach, I suck. Here, take the ball. Like, please get me out of here. Like, I can't handle it. Get me out of here. Like, it doesn't sound like that's what it was. I think that's a great sign. So excited to see her get her chance again. They play Florida Atlantic the day you're watching this, later in the day at 3:30 on Friday. It's their only game on Friday. So all hands on deck if they need them. That is number 23 in the nation in some polls, receiving votes in others. They basically are the Big Ten champs right now. They beat Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Indiana last weekend in whatever tournament they were in. Beat all of them, and then they beat their other people. I think they were undefeated, the other mid-majors they played, and they found their way into the polls. We told y'all before the season that Florida Atlantic was going to be a bigger game than NC State, Northwestern, and listen, sometimes we know ball, and they found themselves into a ranked position. They're going to be a tournament team and a good little resume builder if you can beat them, and they're going to throw their best player, their ace. They did not play today. This is their first game of the Clearwater Invitational, so they've had a week to prepare for us. Now, the benefit of this year is you don't know if you're getting KT or Nyjah. Maybe Sam. Don't hold it out there. If they solve the dog factor, you never know. They might trot her out there. They'll know what to do. You got some arms that you could throw at them, so I'm excited to see what we do. And then they play NC State at noon on Saturday and JMU at 3:30 on Saturday, right? Well, basketball's going on. And then the big one, Nebraska's very good, hitting the ball really well. Definitely an all hands on deck thing there. Good thing is it's the only game of the day, so you can have all your arms ready to go. 5 p.m. ESPN, the ESPN primetime Sunday night game. Baseball isn't starting. It's basically Sunday night softball. Football's gone. This is the sport that's on ESPN on Sunday. Us. Millions of people watching. Two of the best teams. We didn't get the Jordy now from previously Ball Nyjah Kennedy matchup last year. Will we get it this year? Feels likely she'll be out there at some point, but you got KT, you got Sam Lincoln, Chloe, Desi. What are we going to do to get the win? This would be a big resume win. But if you can get out this weekend with 3 top 25 wins, I think that's nice for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get out, I mean, you can get out of this, I mean, unscathed. I mean, wow. I mean, there's a reason why we're the number 1 team in the country, obviously, and there's some really big games.
So deep. It's unfair.
Yeah, so deep. No, literally so deep. It really is unfair. Like, all of our backups could be a whole other team right now competing in Clearwater.
I saw Chloe got into the game against Northwestern, and I was like, how unfair is that Chloe Riasetto is, like, finishing a game for us? Whatever.
Like, crazy stuff. But yeah, Nebraska is going to be such a huge game, and I'm super excited to really see that as well, especially since Nebraska is probably the best offensive team I would argue that we face. So I think that's the game where you finally need to see. Hopefully our bats obviously are getting hot, Saturday and tomorrow, if you will. But Sunday night, all the bats that we were reading, all these crazy batting averages we were reading in our preview, that's all going to happen if you want to take down Nebraska. I mean, obviously Nyjah will take you places. Nyjah can take you to a win. KT even can. Yes, literally, both of them can. But you're going to have to still score,
You probably need a few runs for sure. I'm not. The bats are doing the way Florida State pitches today. If the umps are going to have that strike zone, a lot of teams are going to pitch us that way, and we're just going to have to. It's hard for us because we want to hit born killers up there at the plate, and you're asking them to just don't swing it. All these pitches in the dirt or out of the zone or whatever. That's hard, but they kind of adjusted that as it went on. If they force people to throw them strikes, like they're going to hit them, they just can't get antsy. So you're seeing them adjust to that as they go. So I'm not really super worried about it. They found a way to win. Last year's team, I don't know. Maybe they would have. Maybe they wouldn't. They did beat Florida State twice. So maybe they would have. But that was with tip-top Nyjah. That was shutouts.
Yeah.
We beat Florida State with them scoring 2 runs. Difference. That's why you brought in more hitters. So anyway, that wraps up women's basketball and softball. I didn't watch the Colorado game. I was on the road. It doesn't sound like there was much of a game to watch, Tyler. 78-44 men's basketball. I did see the post-game clip from the coach, and I think that's the best recap. I didn't even need to watch the game. We just took their souls and stomped on them, made them question their existence and why they chose to coach/play basketball. My favorite line was like he was talking about used to coach in whatever the mountain big West or whatever. He's like, we used to have these games. You lose a game, and then you have to drive 2 hours on a bus, take a commercial flight, have two layovers and 5-hour delays, and it would take 17 hours to get home. He's like, my team right now, that's what they deserve. They deserve a 2-hour bus trip on a commercial flight and 2 layovers and a 17-hour return trip. I was just like, and then he apologized to the fans of Colorado, the university, and then he just kept going. He apologized to the entire state of Colorado. That one, I thought I was watching a skit. I was like, this can't be the real coach.
Like, I was ready for the entire country. I was like he was on the roll.
David Collier posted it, and he is known to post some funny videos sometimes. I'm like, did he dub this? Is this AI? Like, there's no way this coach is up there apologizing to the entire state of Colorado. Oh my god, it was a comedy skit, and these men's basketball coaches got to get it in check. Like, Jerome Tang went crazy last night too. Like, breathe? Like, I understand, B. You could. I think that was a good old fashioned ass whooping, is what he said to start the game. I think that was enough. We could have left, but it was hilarious. Interested to see how that team responds moving forward.
Yeah, you would hope that they would figure something out, but at least we responded really well. We did. We looked great.
I mean, only scored 78 points. God forbid the offense, but it looks like they were up by like 40 the whole game, so I doubt they were even trying. 44 points, holding a team to 44 points is stupid. So they're going to need that type of effort, though, to fast recap preview into the number 1 team in the country who did just lose, but had a tough place to play in Kansas. Playing on Arizona's home floor. We played there last year. It's a tough place to play. 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, so you can finish up hopefully watching women's basketball take down Oklahoma State on the road. Flip the channel right on over to watch men's basketball take down Arizona on the road that night. Maybe mixing a little softball in between in the timeouts. Lots of sportsing happening this weekend. It's that time of year.
Yeah, and I think College Game Day is coming to Arizona, and also Arizona. Yep. And also, maybe this might help us out because, like, we're already the road team, so we already have to deal with, not in our home floor and all the things. But the thing that I think might help us out and might mess up Arizona's routine is there's a women's game. It's the in-state rivalry between Arizona and Arizona State that's happening before that. So hopefully the Arizona men's team, like, their whole, whatever
breaks
their routine is, it breaks their rhythm. Like, I'm gonna attribute it to that.
Whatever we can get.
And also whatever points JT and Christian and all of them are, dropping on them. But I think it'll mess up their rhythm for sure. It'll not be a blessing.
I'm excited to watch that. I don't know how much I'll watch. I should be able to watch. I think I'll be near a TV all day Saturday. We'll just be doing things. So I'll just be flipping around. I might not be super active on Twitter, but I'll be watching everything in some form. But I'll try to get on there.
Be watching after the Lady Raiders get a huge dub and still watch.
Yeah, that'll have full attention. And then we'll move forward. But yeah. All right, guys. Whew, another long episode. Lots to fit in. It's that time of year.
Crossover season.
Lots of dubs. Oh my god, crossover season is killing me. That might be the title, is just Texas Tech crossover. It'll make sense to people. It makes sense too. But yeah, we're fighting through it, and appreciate you guys watching, subscribing, sharing with your friends, drop in the comments, all the things y'all do. We'll see y'all next time on Monday to recap a lot of wins, like a lot of wins. It's like 18 games that we just talked about happening this weekend. And we'll recap all of them on Monday. And maybe we'll mix in some track. They're back at it as well. I mean, don't get it past us. All right. That's all I have. Rack 'em.